All right, well, it's just you and me, Bri. Me, you, and Donut.
We did it. Taylor's no longer with us.
Taylor's still with us. He just might have Norwalk.
Yeah. You know what? You know what's funny?
Is fucking Norwalk still a thing?
Do you know? Wait, is it Norwalk or norovirus? Are they the same thing?
I don't know. I think they're the same thing. Norwalk, norovirus. Hey, let's look it up here. I'll look it up quick.
Do you know how? So I told Maddie that because
is it Norwalk, like Walkman?
I think it's Norwalk. I think.
Oh yeah. Norovirus infection are sometimes referred to as Norwalk. Yeah, so it's the same thing.
Do you know what is? How do you get Norwalk?
Probably. My guess is poop.
It is poo-poos.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess it's the Dookie, and I bet you the Dookie came from
Zaya. I bet so too.
So no Tay this week. It's just me and Bri and Donut holding down the fort, and we've got some fun stuff for you guys lined up this week. I'm really looking forward to it.
Sweet.
I just want to first off say one thing. I heard that we got a little bit of feedback that people don't like the soundboard. Okay.
Yeah. Particularly.
Damn. Well, I will say this.
I think Nikki's not going to like that.
Oh,
hey, Nikki, I'm with you. and you know what?
You shouldn't have called her out.
I think that it's a good thing. Like it's you know when like people make a petition on like change.org, it's like Nikki has made her
and you know what? You know how I feel about those change.org petition. Stop emailing me. That's what I feel.
Nikki, you and I, same boat.
Yeah.
But
so this is what I will say. People are resistant to change.
Right.
And change sometimes is good.
Okay.
So welcome to the change. Speaking of change, have you heard about the big news coming out of science?
No, I don't know if I've heard of the big news.
It has to do with the average erect penis length has increased 24%, and scientists have no idea why. Study says.
Thank you, Anthony Weiner.
Whoa. Really?
Scientists are perplexed and concerned by the worldwide 24% increase in the average erect penis length.
Wait, what are the data? What are the comparisons? Like, when did they first collect it?
Dude, the increase from the previous average from 4.8 inches.
Wait. So the previous average
to 6 inches.
But when was that? When was that the previous average?
Well, let's see here. According to a new study published by a team of researchers from Stanford, Emory University, and several universities in Italy, the study examines 75 different research papers published between 1942 and 2021.
This is probably the only
good
thing.
About like old, so what I'm guessing is that 1942, around that time, the average penis size erect was 4.8 inches.
This is one of those,
which is kind of small. Like, I'm not shaming anyone, but that seems small.
I thought the average penis size was 6 inches. Like I thought like that's what I had heard
it is.
Growing up. But the interesting thing is do you think that this is one of the not so bad byproducts of climate change?
No, actually.
And like I was imagining that like, you know how like if like a plant is like starved for sunlight and it's like growing in a pot in a corner, it will like grow up to reach out and like find that sunlight.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the erect penis is like growing up and out to find that clean air in the atmosphere.
Yeah. I think this has a little less to do with that and a little more to do with laziness. So they said that, so again, 75 different research papers published between 1942 and 1942, which reported that erect penis measurements in a total of 55,761 men. They made sure to only include studies where scientists were doing the measuring versus patients self-reporting, and excluded studies where measurements were taken after pelvic surgery, because I'm guessing that probably has some sort of effect on the length. Whether that be longer or shorter, I'm not sure. The Stanford paper found, in particular, an increase in the average erect penile length in men from 1992 to 2021 that held across several geographic regions and subject populations. Concerningly, the scientists do not know why erect penis sizes are getting longer, though they do have a few theories. They theorize that there are global environmental causes, so it could be, right?
Dude.
Which may also be associated with boys and girls going through puberty far earlier than previous generations. Notably, they also suggest that a sedentary lifestyle could be leading to hormonal changes that increase penis length. It can be speculated that these changes may be linked with observations that pubertal milestones are occurring in younger boys than in the past. They write, investigators have hypothesized sedentary lifestyle, obesity, or increasing exposure to hormone-disrupting substances may play a role. I bet you those forever chemicals probably have something to do with that.
True. Yeah. You know what's funny is like I initially thought like maybe I'm glad to hear that it's like scientists reported penile lengths, because if it was like a census, I would just assume that people are more like there's more liars.
I'm 6 foot.
6 foot.
I'm 6 foot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
6 foot.
The researchers also note that there have been worldwide declines in sperm counts, which we've talked about on the show, and testosterone levels as well, and an increase in testicular tumors that also remain relatively mysterious, but could be caused by global environmental changes as well. Stanford Medicine interviewed Michael Eisenberg, one of the authors of the study, who said that this increase in penis length was not what the team was expecting. Given the trends we'd see in other measures of men's reproductive health, we thought there would be a decline in penile length due to the same environmental exposures. So they're just, which I think is funny because it means that they're assuming that sperm counts lower, more testicular tumors, less testosterone,
smaller
must
dick.
be a small dick.
Yeah. Because like, I mean, and anecdotally,
but we know like, that size doesn't matter.
But the thing is like anecdotally, when you watch like Wall-E, you know, when you watch Wall-E and you see those guys floating around on those like
the
those,
floating
like,
wheelchairs. Yeah.
Like you assume that they have tiny penises, right? Like, would you?
Well, not after reading this study. Now I'm thinking they're walking around with a piece.
I know. Maybe that's why they can't walk. My mom calls those people dick doos.
Dick doos.
Yeah, because their bellies stick out more than their dick do. That's what my mom says. I'm glad that you have an applause for that. This is like the one soundboard sound that works for me.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And my mom.
Dick doos. I like it. So Eisenberg, that guy, he speculates that chemical exposure or like pesticides or hygiene products could be changing the hormonal levels in men. Super interesting stuff. I mean, kind of a bummer. Like everything surrounding it is a bummer. But it's kind of cool that we get longer dicks.
It's
if the world's gonna end, at least we're bigger. At least we got bigger cocks going in.
At least guys can feel better about their dick sizes. Mm-hmm. It's a significant change.
Yeah, dude, 4.8 inches too. So like that's
what they say, 25% almost
2 inches.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know really what to think about this. Like it's
I mean, dude, you add that to your schlong.
It's like that. You know, it's like going from 5'9" to 6 feet.
Yeah. Let's move on. Cancer patient. So, Bridie sent me this the other day. This is crazy. Cancer patient develops. We've talked about this on the show. Uncontrollable Irish accent in rare case. So we're talking about what's it called again? Rare accent syndrome. Where was it called?
Yeah, foreign accent syndrome.
Foreign accent syndrome.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Irish accents is from this guy from Killarney.
Sean, how are you?
Good, my dear.
We're here in Killarney today.
Nice to meet you.
Are you from Killarney?
I'm
Born and bred.
Born and bred in Killarney.
And come here, Sean, we're trying to figure out what makes Killarney so special. What do you think makes it a great town?
All right, kid.
You know what? It sounds sort of like a Newfoundlander.
He's wasted. He's very drunk.
Doesn't it sort of sound like a Newfoundlander though? Like I've always thought that Irish
Yeah.
accents sort of sound like
There's
Newfoundland
yeah,
accents.
you get a little bit of that in Newfoundland. Yeah.
I mean, and they're just across the pond from each other.
That's it. I mean, yeah, it's in my blood, you know? So researchers in the U.S. Okay, so I just want to say this. In the past, we've talked about foreign accent syndrome. Do you remember the lady that...
Yeah, I remember. I'm familiar.
Batowi.
Batowi.
She said, it sounded like you work at a Chinese restaurant. Okay, for people who,
I almost did a spit take there.
For people who don't listen to the podcast, there was a study of a couple of people. There was this woman in the UK who she started having a Chinese accent, a really thick Chinese accent.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another person who had who from Australia who had a South African accent, which isn't like that far off from Australia. I don't know.
Czech. She was she had a Czech accent.
Yeah. So but the thing is, those people typically had some sort of like brain injury, trauma, or like a stroke. Okay. This guy has cancer and nothing to do with his brain. So
not a brain. I assumed
prostate cancer.
I immediately assumed like a brain tumor.
He's got prostate cancer. So in a rare case of a man diagnosed with prostate cancer who developed an uncontrollable Irish brogue accent, despite not having one before.
Just to clarify, not the guy we just listened to.
No,
wasn't.
The guy from Killarney is different. Dude.
Okay, yeah.
The researchers from Duke University in Durham, North Carolina, and Carolina Urologic Research Center in South Carolina say the patient, a man in his 50s, had metastatic hormone-sensitive prostate cancer. 20 months after his cancer diagnosis, the researchers say the patient's speech changed. His accent was uncontrollable, present in all settings, and gradually became persistent. The researchers say in their report published late January in the BMJ case reports, a copy of which BMJ provided to CTV News. This is coming from CTV News. Although he lived in England briefly in his 20s and has Irish family and friends, the researchers say that the patient had never been to Ireland or spoke in an Irish accent before.
Do you think that there's a possibility that this person has just been like through so much trauma that they just decide
Born and bred.
that they decide in the moment
Born and bred.
where they're just gonna like change their accent like consciously, like they're just like, do you think that there's a case of this where somebody is diagnosed with foreign accent syndrome? I'm not saying this guy in particular.
Yeah.
But where somebody is diagnosed with foreign accent syndrome, but they're actually just fucking with people.
Oh.
And they just like changed their accent.
Dude, no doubt.
And then like,
honestly, the battery lady.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that because that sounds mean. It sounds like I'm
I'm
denying
not saying
the fact that she actually has this this fucking neurological issue.
I'm not saying any one of them in particular. I'm just saying, do you think that there's one?
I mean, that one in particular just sounds too funny to not be to be real, but it could be. And honestly, I do think that there are probably people out there who've like, of course, there's people out there that fake diseases all the fucking time.
Yeah.
This one would be like kind of hilarious to fake.
Mm-hmm.
This is a lot funnier to fake than
that's
cancer.
what I mean. But that's what I mean.
Faking
right?
cancer is a bummer.
Right. And that's what I mean is like, it is like initially it could be a funny joke, right? So like, say a
little risque.
Say I get a little
right. A little offside.
I know, right? Like say
depending on the accent.
So say I got cancer and I decided that I was gonna like wake up the next morning and just start doing a British accent.
The man from Killarney.
Okay? So like so I wake up and I start doing that and I'm like fucking with you guys, okay? And it's kind of funny for me. And then you guys call the news because you're like, you won't believe it. Our friend had cancer and now he has foreign accent syndrome. Yeah. And so they come in and interview me and then I go along with it. Now I'm fucked, right? Like now I'm
you gotta stick with it.
So like, do you think that there's somebody who's gotten some attention and then has had to stick with it and they to this day have not told somebody that they've actually just been making it up?
Yeah. I mean, this man in particular has had no history of psychiatric disease, no head trauma or any other psychosocial stressor before his speech change appeared. Even as his condition worsened, the researchers say the man still kept his Irish accent until his death months later.
Oh no!
So if he was faking it, he took it to the grave.
Wow. You know what, though? I don't want to like sow a seed of doubt. I'm not saying that this guy in particular.
I don't think.
But like,
yeah,
who knows?
The researchers believe the situation is a case of foreign accent syndrome, FAS, also referred to as pseudo-FAS, and dysprosody, which they describe as a consistent change in speech that makes it seem as if a person has a foreign accent. It can often occur due to stroke, although documented cases exist of FAS being associated with early head trauma and history of psychiatric disease. The report points to paraneoplastic neurological disorder, PND, as the most likely cause of the patient's FAS. The U.S.-based Mayo Clinic describes paraneoplastic syndromes of the nervous system as a group of uncommon disorders that develop in some people who have cancer, specifically when the immune system's cancer-fighting agents attack part of the brain, spinal cord, peripheral nerves, or muscle.
Wow.
The BMJ report says that research has suggested an association between paraneoplastic syndrome and disease progression in prostate cancer, as was the case in this patient.
Whoa. So it's not that the cancer is in the prostate. It's the body's defense mechanism against the cancer that then ends up attacking the brain and causing some of those symptoms.
The man had also developed paralysis in his legs and arms, which researchers say is suspicious for paraneoplastic syndrome. The researchers found only 2 other similar reports of the scientific literature, one in 2009 involving a woman in her 60s with breast cancer, and another in 2011 of a woman in her 50s with seizures. To our knowledge, this is the first case of FAS described in a patient with prostate cancer and the third described of a patient with malignancy, the report says.
Wow.
Pretty fucking interesting.
That's
right?
Yeah.
Why? Like, just such a bizarre, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Right? Like, it's such a bizarre what the fuck.
It would be, you know what, though, to be real for a minute too. Wouldn't it be really challenging to have a loved one that is going through, who's fighting a life-threatening disease, who you're watching sort of change into this frailer version of themselves as they're starting to get closer to the end of life. I mean, it said months later he passed away from his cancer. So oftentimes people, when they start to get really sick, they lose a lot of weight and they sort of they look really, I don't know, they lose the color in their skin and stuff too. And and so to also also have them change their accent too, it would be hard to see your loved one in that person.
It would also be kind of funny. You know?
It would be, yeah. I mean, there's certainly humor within that.
Yeah. Hey, no. Give it up.
Speaking of getting close to end of life,
right? I know.
We're about to put this dog down.
Put you down. Pick him up, will you? Shush. Yeah. So
we won't put
foreign
you
accent
down.
syndrome. Interesting shit. Here's a really interesting video that I thought you'd really like, Bri. This is from a guy on Instagram. His handle is @blindthrasher.
Oh, okay? Sweet.
For those of you who don't know, I manage my Instagram entirely by myself, so I'm going to show you from the whole process, from making a post, friend the camera, nobody's going to know what that means, but now we're going to open Instagram, we're going to go to add, we're going to create a post. Yep. And next, let's write a caption.
Dude, he's writing the caption.
What?
Yeah.
I'm Coco. Hashtag random. Okay. And
hashtag random.
this isn't going to do it, but let's set up a bonus on this one. And we post.
Dude, I've never seen somebody hold their phone like
back
that.
at my main feed and the post will come up, and that is how I manage my Instagram entirely myself.
Fuck yeah, dude. How sick is that?
Whoa.
So the caption on this post, how do I as a blind person run my Instagram entirely by myself? Well, here's how I make a post, demonstrated in real time. I hope this was helpful in answering anyone's questions. So you can see there, I mean, like, it's hard to kind of, and if you were just listening, obviously you have no idea what was happening there, but he was basically making a post like any one of us would on a phone. But the thing that sets it apart is that while his phone's talking to him, basically giving him commands, sort of cues as to where he should be pressing on the phone, he also holds his phone like almost like a I don't know. Like,
it's hard to describe. It's
like a flute. Like he was holding it like a flute, and he was just like fucking picking it like a flute.
He's got like all of his fingers typing at the same time.
And they're all typing. They're not typing the text the way we would type text. They're typing these like buttons that it's like a made up keyboard. So it's like he's sifting through the options to select the right thing, which like it blows my, it's like, how long does it take you to, I mean, I guess it's like Braille, right? It's like, how long does it take you to understand those patterns?
But is it kind of like T9, cool. You know, like the way that when you use T9 type texting?
Yeah.
And the way that like before it was really like, I gotta be careful how I say this, but like before it was really illegal to text and drive.
Yeah.
And, like as phones like first came out, you could just be driving along, sitting and looking at the road, and in one hand just be like using your thumbs and texting with T9 super easily.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if it's like sort of like that. Also, I saw this a new keyboard called the Caracorder. Have you seen this?
Is that the weird one that has like the divots in it?
Yeah, it's kind of like
it's two keyboards.
It looks like two balls, sort of, and it has the Caracorder.
Cara?
Yeah, CARA quarter. And so what you do is there's like 6 or 7 buttons on each one or something. I'm not sure how exactly the button layout works.
Oh yeah, whoa!
But you basically play it like guitar strings, sort of like chords.
Yeah. Oh.
And when you play chords, you write words.
Trippy.
So you can type at like 400 words a minute. Wow. At like 4 to 5 times faster than like the fastest person can type.
Very cool.
Based off of moving your fingers in a certain like chord like combination.
Right.
Which is really interesting because it kind of looked like he was playing chords on a guitar when he was doing that. And he typed really fast.
He did. Right? Yeah.
Which is super impressive.
Yeah. Very, very cool. Blind Thrasher on IG. So he's like a blind advocate who does like cool shit.
That's
Instagram.
Awesome. Have you seen 4 Bad Eyes on Instagram? Speaking of
4 Bad Eyes, no.
Oh man. Oh dude, Jerry, you fucking love this. It's these 2 guys who live together. They're 2 blind guys and they're both skateboarders and they're really good at skateboarding and they're blind. And
I know 4 Bad Eyes.
They make funny videos, and they're just like,
I don't know 4 Bad Eyes, but I know one of the guys from 4 Bad Eyes. I reached out to him to be on the show.
Yeah, they're so fucking cool.
Dan the Man Cena.
Yeah.
Dan the Man Cena.
I think we've talked about him on the podcast.
We have, yeah. He's fucking awesome. Yeah. I didn't know he had like a Instagram account with his homie.
I'm pretty sure they live together, and
cool.
like it's like 2 blind.
Because I see his friend in
together.
some of his posts sometimes. So that's cool.
And they're so funny. They're hilarious.
Here's an interesting little story from the CDC. They are currently warning not to use eye drop brand as it investigates infections across 11 states.
You know what's crazy? Before you go into this story, Jared, I have to tell you about this thing that I haven't told you about. So on Super Bowl Sunday, I stayed home that night and I ended up watching the Super Bowl with Maddie. And before the game started, we went in the hot tub, and our like hot tub is like it's kind of like a little pool. And
pool, dude. Like, your hot tub can fit like 900 people.
So I like swimming around in it. Like I'll like actually swim in it.
Yeah, you can swim in your hot tub.
Yeah. And so
that's all you need to say.
This sounds so fucking dumb saying this, but I'll swim with my eyes open. And there's like they've been putting way too much chlorine in the hot tub, and it's been causing like bathing suits to change colors. Like it's been a bit of a problem.
Okay.
And so anyway, they've since apparently fixed this. But I was swimming around with my eyes open, and so we left the hot tub.
In a hot tub.
And I went to. I know it sounds gross. I'm being very vulnerable right now. I wouldn't tell anybody this. But so I was swimming around with my eyes open, and then I went to the grocery store on my own to pick up like a couple, I don't know, like appetizers that we could just chuck in the oven while we were watching the Super Bowl. And so Maddie's at home, I'm at the grocery store, and I'm walking around the grocery store, and dude, my eyes started to burn so bad. I had like cloudy vision.
Oh god.
It like felt like I had, you know, when you look at a dog's eyes that has cataracts and they're like foggy. My eyes felt like they were like that looking at them. And so and they were getting more and more painful. And so I went into the bathroom, I rinsed them out with cold water, nothing happened, it didn't change. I wanted to go buy some eye drops. I didn't end up buying eye drops. But when I was driving home, I was blinking so much, I thought I was going to have to pull over and stop because I couldn't see. And like backing into my parking spot at home, I had to stop mid backup and blink like 40 times, just enough so that I could get my car into the spot. And anyways, I put a cold cloth on my eyes and like had to sit with my eyes closed for like most of the Super Bowl because it was so fucking bad. Sorry. I'm so sorry, Nikki. I'm so sorry, Nikki. But anyway, it was, but knowing that this story is about eye drops.
Yeah, well, good thing you didn't use those fucking eye drops, Brian, because the Center for Disease Control and Prevention is asking people to stop using a brand of artificial tears that could be behind dozens of infections across the U.S. The CDC says lab and epidemiological evidence have tied the use of EzriCare Artificial Tears to a multi-state cluster of Pseudomonas aeruginosa patients. Pseudomonas, that's my
yeah.
But the investigation is ongoing, and there is not yet a definitive link. Pseudomonas
was this
aeruginosa bacteria live in the environment.
Brought to you by Visine.
Yeah, right. Big eye drop. Are highly resistant to antibiotics, can cause infections in the blood, lungs, and other body parts. Often these cases occur after surgery. The CDC is investigating at least 50 cases in 11 states that have led to hospitalization, permanent vision loss, and even one death.
Whoa.
The cases are located in Cali, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Nevada, Texas, Utah, and Washington.
Thank God, not Nova Scotia.
Dude, that's a lot of places.
But how does an eye drop have Pseudomonas in it?
Probably someone at the factory fucking, I don't know.
Pseudomonas it?
Fucking sneezed in it or something. I don't know. I'm
trying
to look it up here.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, I mean, let's find out. Maybe they say, while working to determine the cause of the illnesses, CDC investigators found that the majority of people used artificial tears, with EzriCare being the most popular brand. Investigators identified the drug-resistant bacteria in open bottles of the drops. Testing of sealed bottles is ongoing. The CDC recommends that clinicians and patients immediately discontinue the use of EzriCare Artificial Tears until the epidemiological investigation and laboratory analysis are complete. EzriCare said in a statement Wednesday that they were not aware of any testing that definitely linked the eye drops to Pseudomonas, but they said they'd stop selling the product. Dude, yeah, fucking right you would.
Yeah.
To the greatest extent possible, we've been contacting customers to advise them against continued use of the product, the company said. We also immediately reached out to both CDC and FDA and indicated our willingness to cooperate with any requests they have of us. In 2019, report found that 2,700 people in the U.S. died from Pseudomonas infections and another 32,600 were hospitalized.
Imagine taking eye drops because you've been swimming in your pool with your eyes open, and then you fucking died.
And then that shit happens to you? I'd be pissed.
I would be pissed.
I'd be pissed. That's crazy, though.
Like that's so insane. I didn't even know
how does that like how does it get Pseudomonas in it?
Can you Google Pseudomonas? Because I need to know what Pseudomonas is. This totally changes what I thought in my head Pseudomonas could be.
Yeah, here.
If it can come in through your eyeballs.
Yeah, if you're getting through your eyeballs, I mean, what the fuck is it?
Are your eyeballs just a good way for you to get lots of things in your body?
Yeah, I suppose so. It's just they're it's like you can take acid through your eyes.
Receptacles?
Yeah, they're just receptacles to your brain, dude. Pseudomonas. How do you even pronounce this? Aeruginosa. Pseudomonas aeruginosa is a common encapsulated gram-negative aerobic faculty.
Wait, is it erogenous?
Anaerobic rod-shaped bacterium that can cause disease in plants and animals. I think I said it right. A species of considerable medical importance, P. aeruginosa, is a multi-drug resistant pathogen recognized for its ubiquity, its intrinsically advanced antibiotic resistance mechanisms, and it's associated with serious illness, hospital-acquired infections such as ventilator-associated pneumonia and various sepsis syndromes. Jesus Christ.
So it's just a bacteria that gets into your body.
The organism is considered opportunistic insofar as serious infections often occur during existing diseases or conditions, most notably cystic fibrosis and traumatic burns. It generally affects the immunocompromised, but can also infect the immunocompetent, as in hot tub folliculitis.
No, it doesn't say that.
Hot tub folliculitis.
No, it doesn't.
Let's go down the rabbit hole. Is a common type of folliculitis, a condition. Am I saying that right? Folliculitis. How do you pronounce that?
Folliculitis.
Yeah, folliculitis.
Dude, I'm just telling you. You just have to say it sounding scientific-y, and then it works. Folliculitis.
Folliculitis. Yeah, it's a condition with inflammation of the hair follicles. Dude, I've had folliculitis before.
Wait.
It looks like this.
Wait.
It looks like a little rash.
Wait.
So it generally affects the immunocompromised, but can also affect the immunocompetent, as in hot tub folliculitis.
This is confusing now, because my story was I was talking about the hot tub.
We got a lot of parallels between your story and this fucking.
So I was talking about the hot
Pseudomonas.
tub because I was talking about the eye drops, and the eye drops gave the Pseudomonas, but it turns out that the Pseudomonas is also related to something called hot tub folliculitis. It's almost like we have a triangle this is like the Illuminati, I think.
Ouchie.
Yeah. So treatment of P. aeruginosa infections can be difficult because due to its natural resistance to antibiotics. And when more advanced antibiotic drug regimens are needed, adverse effects may result. Yeah, I mean, this goes on forever, and it just doesn't look good. And basically, people are fucking dropping that shit into their eyeballs.
So TLDR, you're getting bacteria in your eyeballs through these eye drops, and they don't know how the bacteria got in the eye drops.
Yeah, you're not doing good.
Yeah.
Let's move on to this week's edition of What the Health? I found this was actually sent to us by Sadie.
Sweet.
Shout out Sadie in New York. Schizophrenia simulation video shows how terrifying the condition can be.
Whoa.
It's a bit of a long video. I won't play it all, but I'll lead us into it here. So if you want to watch this, you can go to our YouTube and check it out. According to rethinkmentalillness.com, schizophrenia affects 1 in 100 people. It categorizes schizophrenia as a mental illness which affects the way you think. And this is a video of a gentleman
Where are you going?
walking into a convenience store. First person.
This is pointless.
And you can hear
Kid knows you're stupid.
the audio hallucinations that he's having.
Don't go in there.
Nobody cares about you. Why do you even try? Why do you even bother?
What are you looking for?
Everything's listening to you.
You don't deserve happiness.
The wine bottles.
See, they're laughing.
She's looking at you. They're looking at you.
Everybody laughs at you.
Everybody's talking about you.
It reminds me
ahead.
of like a,
Get to
a
my
horror
screen.
video
You
game.
don't want that.
Worthless.
It'll make
Yeah.
you fatter than you already
Never
are.
been born.
Worthless. Pointless.
Look out.
All the alcohol. Just
Trash.
take it all.
Poison.
No, don't take that one. No, go over to the other one.
Oh,
If you're not listening to this with
Go ahead.
headphones
A
on,
couple bottles of booze. Just
I highly
drink it.
suggest you do.
Eat
drink
it.
it until you're
Look out.
passed out. Nobody cares.
Pointless.
Where did they go?
Nobody loves you. No one could.
Some junk food.
that'd be so
They
annoying.
don't
Scream.
care.
The
See?
people. They're talking about you.
Even
They're,
he can't
you're
even
such a
look at you.
loser. Oh, he's walking away because you stink. You smell.
Why do you bother?
You're stupid.
Oh God, it's so like overwhelming. Oh, it makes me
Yeah, it makes my skin crawl.
me tingle. Rethink Mental Illness explains that with schizophrenia comes both positive and negative symptoms, and they don't mean this by like positive as in good and negative as in bad.
Mhm.
Positive symptoms include the experience of certain things that are in it that are in addition to one's reality, which can involve seeing or hearing things that other people cannot. Negative symptoms resolve more around the loss of ability to do something, such as losing motivation or socially withdrawing. Yeah, and so apparently there was a woman who had schizophrenia who did a reaction video to that on YouTube, and she basically said, "Yeah, this is like pretty bang on.
Whoa.
It's a little sensationalized, but it really does do a pretty good job of showing you what it feels like to have such a fucked up like audio hallucination, and it's oftentimes voices." She said she had one voice that she named Jennifer.
Mhm.
But she said that she knows of people that have multiple voices, and it's oftentimes voices that are saying really like negative things to you.
Man, that would be like, it's like, I think of the example of like when you like play, there's this like experiment where they played music for plants that were growing.
Yeah.
And there was like the claim is that if you play positive music or positive affirmations for plants, that they grow bigger and bigger and healthier.
Bigger and better.
It's funny because like I think of like how difficult would it be to live your life every day, no matter how optimistic or like
insane.
positive you were
Yeah.
to like constantly have a voice like that in your head. I mean, it'd be impossible to be able to function.
Yeah. Yeah, it would
it
be. Yeah,
sucks.
I mean, it's no wonder why schizophrenia can be something that leads to so much social withdrawal.
Yeah, I really
and
like
suicidal ideation. You know, like fucking.
I really like advocacy campaigns like that give you a bit of insight
Yeah.
into, because it's so hard to like empathize with people who go through experiences like that you haven't experienced before.
Yeah.
But when
How would you know?
artistically you're able to like create or sort of like shed some light into what an experience like that is truly like. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the straw analogy with cystic fibrosis, like
Yeah,
breathing
right.
through a straw. It's like, oh, now I can actually imagine what it would be like to have cystic fibrosis.
Mhm.
It would be like breathing through a straw.
Yeah.
And so it's cool that they're able to do that, but man, it feels sad
Yeah.
to watch that and know that people struggle with that.
Yeah, it's hard. And it's scary, you know, like it's kind of like I've been playing this video game recently called Phasmophobia,
Yeah.
which you're a ghost hunter. You're hunting ghosts and using like EMF readers and fucking, like motion sensors and shit. And like that game makes me so scared that like I can feel my skin tingling, moving.
Mhm.
And like that video gave me the same kind of sensation where it'd be like, I feel like it would be really scary.
I think
Must
that
be scary for someone who gets schizophrenia in their 30s when like they've never had anything in their past, and then all of a sudden they just start fucking having schizophrenia. Like, how terrifying is that?
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that it's kind of like when my parents got divorced, and I thought like, oh, my parents will never get divorced, and then all of a sudden, like you have this reality where like your world is like turned upside down. But also to speak to like the point about like horror games. I mean, I've felt this way about the horror genre in general. and when I felt that like most horror plot lines are born of like sort of some experience related to mental illness, because there's like so much.
You could definitely tie it to mental illness pretty easily.
I could easily see how a lot of the ideas of like how to portray the experiences that people are feeling, like they just, they take something that is grounded in like some sort of reality of somebody's actual experience of like what it would be like to sort of live this horrific mental experience, and then turn it into like some sort of like novel ghost story.
Yeah.
And just instead of saying that this is your brain causing this, it's a ghost causing it. But it's still the same sort of outcome, I guess, if that makes sense.
That'd be kind of a fun like trivia game to play, like a drinking game, like name the horror movie and then you got to name the mental illness like that it represents.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
There probably is a lot of like,
you get a lot of repeat, I'm sure.
And something that's similar, that's more naturally explained than a mental illness is like, there's a relationship to, I guess there's like historically where there's been big ghost stories or hauntings, in like let's say like the Amityville horror house. There's also been proof that there's been like carbon monoxide poisoning in those houses and stuff. So like it leads people to see ghosts, but it can be naturally explained.
Yeah.
It's kind of like mental illness.
We should start that drinking game this weekend. Well, folks, hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Feel Good Friday. We were sans Taylor, but that's okay. We held down the fort ourselves. And if you want to support the podcast, you can leave a rating and review on Apple Podcast, or you can give the podcast a little rating on the Spotify mobile app. And again, we're on Discord. If you want to pop over to Discord, the Discord link is in the show notes. You can come over there, have some conversations with us. It's a really fun time, fun community. We'd love to have you. So pop on over to Discord and check out the link in the show notes of this episode. And if you have anything to say about the show, any kind of feedback, your vibe on the soundboard where you're sitting, let me know. info@sickboypodcast.com, or of course you can do what our friend and past listener Nikki did and slide into the DMs of our Instagram. And we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I just want to say, I didn't mean to throw Nikki under the bus, but it's okay. We know that she's not listening now anyway, since she started using that soundboard. But I want to clarify that Nikki is not a Louise. Louise and Nikki are two very different people.
Very different people.
We love Nikki. And we also love Jeff Lonis, who's our manager. We love Rich O'Coin, who does the theme music. And we love Donovan the Meerkat CPAP Morgan and Take Part for all the work that they do outside of this week's episode or today's episode. We love you all, and we love Taylor too.
That is it for this week.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Jeremy, and this is Sick Boy.